Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Timothy here with Mana Rocks, and I think it's about time to start by force for Throne of Eldraine. If you have not watched this series before, it is a series where I take the most current limited draft set on Arena, and I go into the draft forcing a specific archetype. Usually the decks end up being pretty bad. Sometimes the cards we're forcing are not even opened in the draft, but it's a good highlight on why not to force decks. And also sometimes I'm pleasantly surprised. I did a couple of these for Core Set 2020, and I was kind of surprised by which ones were good and which ones weren't. There are a few archetypes that I want to try for Force this time around. I think the one I'm going to start with here is the Seven Dwarves deck because it's the most obvious one. But other ones I'm considering here are the Mill deck, which is pretty easy to draft. It's kind of the reason I don't like this set on Arena. But if people want to see the Mill deck, I'll consider it. I'm also considering Knights as one of my Force videos, and also the Adventure deck, and see if we can go in and force those. But we're going to start with the Seven Dwarves deck. So the way this is going to work is I'm going to try to draft every single copy of Seven Dwarves that I can. If I see it in the pack, I'm going to take it regardless of what else is in that pack. If I open a Garruk, but there's a Seven Dwarves in the pack, too bad. We're taking the Dwarf. If I have a reasonable suspicion that the card would wheel, maybe there's just a pack that's completely loaded up on red cards, then there's a chance I'll pass up on the Dwarf and see if it comes back. But we might get one Dwarf, we might get four, and I've noticed this archetype's decent. If you get 3+ Dwarves, they actually become a decent card. I don't expect to do very well, mainly because aggro is not great in this format, but if we can get some Dwarves, back it up with some removal, some pump spells, maybe we can push through the glut of mill decks. This is going to be best of one format, so we're going to play all the way up to 7 wins or 3 losses, whichever one comes first, and there won't be any sideboarding. So try to build the best Dwarf main board best of one draft deck I can. I don't know. Let's see how we do. Before we jump into the queue, make sure you subscribe below if you like this sort of content. I enjoy doing Force. I think it's a really neat kind of a way to diverge from doing just a typical draft, and sometimes the results are pretty nice. So if you like this sort of thing, if you want to see more of it, subscribe below. You can comment and let me know if you enjoy Force or not, and you can find us on Twitter at mtg_manarock. So enough talk. We've already been talking forever. Let's go ahead and jump in and see if we can draft some Dwarves. Whoop. All right, so yeah, see, here's what I'm talking about. There's a Dwarf, but there's also a Slaying Fire. I think, okay, so this is kind of problematic. If I were just drafting normally, I would probably take Slaying Fire. It's either that or the Owl, right? Because the Owl is pretty good. I do have to consider what's the most likely color combination I'm going to end up in, and I think it's going to be either red-black or red-green. I actually like red-green in this format, even though I don't think red as a whole is great. The question here is, if I take Slaying Fire, am I getting this Dwarf back? And I do think the bots will prioritize Raging Redcap over 7 Dwarves, so I'm going to risk it for the biscuit, and I think I'm just going to take this Slaying Fire and hope to get the Dwarf pack back 9th pick. If this was a little later in the pack and it wasn't a full pack, then I could definitely bank on not getting the Dwarf back, but I think the bots rate this card so low, and there's another red card they should take over it, that I'd probably get the Dwarf back. So let's start off with a Slaying Fire here, and risking it from the very beginning. Pack 2. Again, Dwarf isn't a knight or anything, so there's not really any synergy there. We could go for a really aggressive white-red deck, although the only white card that's worth taking in this pack really is the Youthful Knight. I think, given that I took the Slaying Fire, my choices should be between the Red Cap and the Spinning Wheel. And I don't think Spinning Wheel is absolutely amazing. I like this better in control decks than aggro decks, although if you end up splashing or something, it's decent. But I started with a red removal spell. I know I'm drafting red here. Let's go ahead and just take the Red Cap and continue from there. Moving into pack 3. Pick 3 rather. There's a couple really good blue cards, and Once in Future is a pretty good green card. I don't think Flaxen Intruder is very good, but I've never actually played it myself. And one thing also worth kind of noting here is that in red-green, if that's where we end up, we might care about non-humans. There's cards like Grumgully and stuff like that, which care about non-humans, and a lot of green cards just coincidentally are humans. So that's something to kind of keep track of without putting too much weight on it. As is, Flaxen Intruder is just not that great of a card. I'm going to take the Trebuchet here. There's also Prophet of the Peak, which is perfectly fine. But Trebuchet stays on color for now. Moving into pick number 4. Not bad. There's a Reeve Soul. I could stay on color and take any of these kind of mediocre black card, or rather red cards. There's some decent aggressive white cards here, and then there's Reeve Soul, which is just solid removal, right? Red-black is kind of Knight synergy, and we do have a Brimstone Trebuchet. We have a Knight already, so moving into black or moving into white gives us basically what we want. I could also take the Red Cap Raider, which I think would be my pick of these 2 cards. And then we could try to stay as mono red as possible and maybe get rewarded with some of the hybrid red cards. So tough decision. Do we stay on color with kind of a mediocre card, or do we take a strong removal spell that we might not end up playing if we're not that color? Same thing with the white. I think it's between Reeve Soul and Red Cap Raider. Note that this one is not a Knight, so I'm less excited. I'm just going to take Reeve Soul here. Ooh, hello. So there's obviously Siren Barrage, which is a great removal spell, but there's also Steel Claw Lances, one of your huge payoffs for being in red-black. This card just turns everything into a beater, and sometimes the way that the blue decks stall you out is by just playing O4s, and this lets creatures just kind of bash through O4s, right? So I am going to take Steel Claw Lance and pass up on a pretty good removal spell here. The only other card that we could really consider is Malevolent Noble, but Steel Claw Lance is nice to get 5th pick, and a pretty good sign that the bots will not be drafted in black. Or rather, red-black, the color combination. I don't know how highly they value this card. I don't see it very often, so I assume they value it highly. All right, here's a little bit more of a tough decision. Now, there is Embereth Paladin, which is, if you want to be super aggressive, this card is playable. It's a Knight, but it's not great. There's also Forever Young, which I'm just going to go ahead and do a little aside here. If you're playing Best of 1 Arena in this format and you are in black, you should probably pick 1 or 2 of these and main board them if you can, just because the mill deck is so prevalent and it's so good. This is one way to combat it when you don't have a sideboard, and it's a perfectly main deckable card. Pick 7, so we get 1 more shot at a dwarf, and then hopefully that other dwarf wheels. Wicked Guardian so far looks pretty poor. We actually only have 1 attacking creature here and then a Trebuchet. I'm going to take Ogre Errant, I think. I like Memory Theft, but I do need to go pretty heavy on creatures here, and picking up a reasonable Knight seems fine. Probably just another Forever Young. There's Shambling Suit, which right now I have 2 artifacts, so doesn't look particularly exciting, but I'm going to go and grab my second Forever Young. And we did, in fact, wheel the dwarf, so we are obligated to take it at that point. All of the white cards came back, every single one of them, which is kind of hilarious. Here, there is a Curve Topper in Prophet of the Peak, or there's Joustin' Dummy, which is a Knight and is an artifact. The artifact thing doesn't necessarily matter. Not a strong card, of course, but I guess the question is, do I want a Curve Topper or do I want a small aggressive creature? And I think I actually want the Joustin' Dummy here. It's pretty good with Steel Claw Lance. It can trade up for things like Merfolk Secret Keeper. You'll notice a lot of my picks are just based around the intentions of playing against the mill deck, just because it pops up constantly. So I think having a creature that can attack into Merfolk Secret Keeper seems fine here without spending too much mana on it. Barge In or Shambling Suit. I actually kind of like Shambling Suit, although it takes a lot to make this better than Hengewalker, right? And Hengewalker's not super exciting. But sometimes this card is kind of busto. Right now we have 1, 2, 3 artifacts. I think Barge In is probably more along the lines of what this deck wants right now. Really good with Rage and Red Cap, just solid with the Dwarves, so on and so forth. Blow Your House Down, a card that I think is probably playable, but almost never makes the main board. And then Beanstalk. Ooh, Embercleave. Okay, well, we got probably one of the best cards we could hope for here with Embercleave. Very powerful. It's if you haven't seen this one, let's go and read it. It's 4 red for a flash equipment. It auto-equips when it enters the battlefield, and you can re-equip for 3 mana. And it costs 1 less to cast this for each attacking creature you control. So if you're attacking with 2 creatures, you can Embercleave in for 4 mana and automatically attach it without paying the equip cost. And then the effect that you get is +1/+1, double strike, and trample. So you get to just blow your opponent out of combat. It's like a mega barge in that deals a ton of extra damage. And then if they kill the creature that Embercleave's on, you can start re-equipping to other creatures. I do need to start taking creatures pretty highly here, because right now I have like 1, 2, 3, 4 attacking creatures and a trebuchet. There's an epic downfall in the pack. Things that might wheel for us: Reef Soul, Lost Legion. That's basically all I would consider. Maybe Prophet of the Peak. This pack is very good. Like every single card besides like Red Cap and yeah, Red Cap's really the only unplayable card, and I don't think even a super. I don't know. Maybe Red Caps get better when you have an Ember Cleave. It does seem like it could be kind of crazy. But I'm gonna go ahead and take the Cleave and hopefully wheel one of the black cards. Youch, another Steel Claw Lance or one of these mediocre cards. It has to just be the Lance, right? Maybe I'll wheel one of these. So far, the Dwarf count is 1. The Dwarf count is at 1. I think Merchant of the Veil should be my pick over Scalding Cauldron. I do, like I said, I just need creatures, right? I can't afford to just keep taking cards like this and not have creatures. I'm going to have non-functional draws with all this equipment and stuff. So I need to kind of buckle down and make sure I'm taking equipment or just like premium removal spells. I mean creatures, not equipment. Here, I think Rage and Redcap, pretty good. Redcap Melee, also a card that I like. I think people read this and they think, sacking a land to deal 4 damage. The sacking a land's a pretty big cost, but yeah, right? Like, if this card just said sack a land, destroy a creature, I think people would read it a little bit differently. But it sounds like it has more of a downside than it does. It's a real downside, let me not underplay that, but it's less of a downside than it sounds. Here we've got Reeve Soul, another Ogre Errant, and then these lands that aren't going to make the pick over these two. I think I'm supposed to just take Reeve Soul. I picked up a couple more creatures here with the Merchant and the Red Cap, so I think I can take a pick to just take another removal spell. There's another Dwarf, so we will go ahead and grab that. A little awkward, the Dwarf is not a knight, and Lost Legion is a knight. I would not mind Lost Legion or Memory Theft, but we'll take our second Dwarf. And we've got one more shot at a Dwarf in this pack. Actually, maybe not an easy Forbidden Fruit. There's Shambling Suit, and Shambling Suit's starting to look a little bit better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 artifacts so far. The other option here is Foreboding Fruit, which if I already have a lot of card draw, I tend to not like Foreboding Fruit as much, but it's fine, right? And I don't have a ton of card draw. I've got Merchant as like card filtering. I've got Forever Youngs, which you can cycle at the very minimum. I think I'm actually going to grab Shambling Suit here, and maybe I'll regret that. Tournament Grounds, I think, even if you are like Mardu Knights, this card, you'll probably play it, but it's not a card I prioritize because it just doesn't help us cast some of our spells. If we need it for black mana and we're stuck with like one of these 3 cards in our hand, we just can't use it. It does help cast our Steel Claw Lances and our Ember Cleave, which is kind of nice, and it casts most of the rest of our deck. But it doesn't like cast your Merchant or your Trebuchet and stuff like that. So I think I'm actually going to grab the Embereth Paladin now, and that might be like my curve topper. Here's the moment of truth. Do we want Weaselback Redcap? Note that we're at 2 Dwarves and we are on the wheel. Blood Haze Wolverine's pretty poor if you don't have a lot of ways to draw cards. I have Merchant. I have the same cards I just mentioned there, but 2 of them are sorcery speed. This really functions strongly with instant speed. This might be the time that Weaselback Redcap makes one of my decks. All right, I think Redcap Raider is better than Embereth Paladin despite not being a knight, and it's a little bit lower on the curve, so I'm happy to take that there. Crashing Drawbridge. Crashing Drawbridge to start like just beating seems reasonable. I like it a lot better in best of 3 where you can board it out if you're against like flyers and stuff like that. I think I'm supposed to just take Dwarven Mine here. Dwarven Mine's not great, but it's actually pretty nice with like Ember Cleave and things like that. It just gives you another potential attacker. So I don't think I'm going to play a Drawbridge. I think if I were to take it, it wouldn't make the cut. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the Dwarven Mine. Thrilled Possibility is a playable. I don't actually have a lot of black in my deck for what it's worth. All right, pick 3. Come on, 2 more Dwarves. I'm looking for 2 more Dwarves here. Wow, Wishclaw Talisman to go fetch up a Dwarf? Not quite. There's Resolute Rider, which we're not particularly close to even wanting that card in our deck. Savvy Hunter, again, the splash isn't quite doing it. So I think we're looking at Skullknocker Ogre, we're looking at Siren Barrage, and we're looking at Scalding Cauldron. I would take Barrage over Cauldron, so let's narrow it down to the 2 red cards. Never really seen this card do that much. It is a pretty aggro card. It has 4 power, which I've already mentioned I like. Seems fine here. Searing Barrage is just good removal, but I'm already up to, what, 2 Reeve Souls? Slaying Fire. I guess I don't have a ton of removal. I think I'm supposed to just take Searing Barrage. And I don't think Wishclaw Talisman's quite where we want to be. So yeah, I'll take the removal spell over the Skull Knocker. Oh, yowza, look at this pack. Mad Ratter, Skull Knocker, Raging Redcap, 6 red cards, 6 red cards. We are not a Mad Ratter deck, unfortunately, as much as I love it. And I don't mind these. I think these Raging Redcaps are good in our deck. But we're going to wheel one of these 3. And I think I'll play any of them. So I'm going to take the Scorching Dragonfire. Ooh, Sarkara is really nice. There's also Inspiring Veteran, which is a little bit out of territory for us here. But Sarkara is a nice pickup. And then Ogre Errant. I would take this on the wheel. But Sarkara is in fact a knight and just a solid card all the way around. Pick 4. No dwarf. Where's my dwarf? I guess this is a dwarf. It's also a knight. It's also just a good aggressive creature. Maybe probably take that over Ogre Errant and keep the curve kind of low. Not been impressed with it, though. I guess it's fine. We'll go ahead and take that. Yeah, this is what I was talking about, potentially being rewarded for being mono red. I guess, like, do I cut 2 Forever Youngs, 2 Reeve Souls, and just try to splash the Lance? I don't think so, although I'm at 27 cards already. Do I want another Embereth Paladin? Probably not, and I don't think Golden Egg is a real good fit for my deck, despite having the Shambling Suit, which maybe I don't play. I guess there's a world in which I play mono red, so I will in fact take that. I've got good red removal, so I might not necessarily need the Reeve Souls, and then if I cut the Reeve Souls, it's really like, do I want the Forever Youngs? I could still play the Steel Claw Lances. Here, I think just another Searing Barrage. And then, can we get a dwarf? Do we want Fervent Champion? Fervent Champion seems like it sucks. I guess we could just go... maybe we could just go mono red with like 3 Searing Barrages and just aggressive creatures. Blow Your House Down's not going to make the cut. Yeah, I think I'm going to take Searing Barrage number 3 over the 1-drop. And that was pick 8, no dwarf. So it looks like we're going to be the double dwarf, 7 dwarf deck. We have 2/7 of the dwarves. Searing Barrage number 4, that's probably too many, right? Is it too many? That's a lot of burn damage if you end up mono red. I'm going to take it over Merchant. Skull Knocker came back. I don't think I want Ginger Brute. Maybe I want Ginger Brute. Ginger Brute with Steel Claw Lance is like a real thing. Taking this increases my, whatchamacallit, my curve by a decent amount. But if this one's wheeling, then surely the other one will wheel. This might be a Ginger Brute deck. Wait, hold on a second. The bots took Skull Knocker Ogre over all of these? I find that really weird. Let's just take another Raging Redcap. Another Ogre Errant. Yeah, I'm not playing 2 throw possibilities. Alright, I think we're going to go mono red here. Maybe we play... I don't know how many black sources we play, but I think I still play the Steel Claw Lances. 51 cards. And this is going to be one of those awkward things that happens in Bifrost, where the obvious cuts are these dwarves, right? But we told ourselves we're going to play them, so fight me. Alright, I think if black comes out completely... and we get to play Lock Dragon. Is that better than having these black cards? Probably not, right? Lock Dragon's good, but I do think Reeve Souls and access to all of this stuff is better. So we could still consider Lock Dragon here. We're not going to play a lot of swamps in our deck. The upside to this, I guess, is that we can always cast our spells, our Searing Barrages, and Slaying Fires and stuff like that will always be adamant. And I guess I could see a world... No, if I'm going to play 4 Searing Barrages, then I do want 17 lands. Alright. Let's go ahead and not play Lock Dragon. And let me just shave a little bit off the top here. I think go down an Embereth Paladin and an Ogre Errant right off the bat. And I'll just do a quick sweep through of cards I don't really want. Weaselback Redcap. Man, do I not like this card, but it's kind of like a Jousting Dummy. It's basically a better Jousting Dummy, and Jousting Dummy's already kind of a garbage card. I think Thrill of Possibility can go for sure. I think Shambling Suit's probably not a great fit for this deck, even though it's probably fine. Maybe this is Ambitious. Like if my opponent plays just a bunch of tokens or something, Searing Barrage doesn't look quite as exciting. So I think maybe ditch one Searing Barrage, especially if I'm going to have the Reeve Souls in the deck. And then here, like, the 7 Dwarves just staring me in the face. That's too many for sure. I do have the second Steelclaw Lance too. Maybe Steelclaw Lance is fantastic, but having 2 of them and then also having cards like Bargain, cards like Embercleave, that's just too many cards that are reliant on you having a bunch of creatures. And I don't really love putting myself in a position where I end up drawing a bunch of things that augment creatures and not the creatures to go with them. So I'm going to keep the second Steel Lance out, I think, and then probably cut one of these 1-drops. Maybe not. This is a pretty aggro deck. I wish I'd picked up more Trebuchets. Do I need Merchant of the Veil? I do like the card, but I don't have anything that combos with it. It's just kind of a mana sink. Mana filtering. I think Merchant can go here. Then 2 cards. 2 cards. Alright, what if I go boom, boom, and then I just play black? I don't know, maybe I do just want to play mono red here. Again, I think my removal is pretty good, especially the top end being all these Searing Barrages, but I've also got Slay and Fire, I've got Scorch and Dragon Fire, I've got Combat Tricks and stuff like that. So, Steelclaw Lance is great, but if I don't want it, I don't want it, right? 17 lands, put in Lock Dragon, and then this would be my deck. How good is this? I'm not 100% sure. It loses out on the Reeve Souls is the big thing, and the Steelclaw Lances, at the sake of being just a little bit more consistent. Lock Dragon's a strong card, and Lock Dragon does kind of do a good impression of what Merchant of the Veil's already doing. Joustin' Dummy could come out here. Joustin' Dummy's not exactly insane. I think I'm going to run it like this. This is a decent amount of top end, but we've also got kind of the aggro stuff going on here. I'm a little disappointed we didn't pick up at least one more dwarf here, so I could ditch this dummy and just have the triple dwarf going on, but I think it'll be fine. 2 mana 2/2 is kind of what our deck wants here. I think I'm supposed to ditch one of the 1-drops, though, to be honest, but putting in a 1 for a 5 seems pretty awkward. So yeah, why don't we go ahead and run it like that? Let's go mono red. This is oh, actually, you know, I need to do one. I need to do one thing. Bear with me. We're drafting the 7 Dwarves deck. Sure, we sucked at drafting it, but we're doing it. So boom, 7 Dwarves is now the face of the deck. So that's gonna go ahead and be our by force 7 Dwarves draft deck. Hope you enjoyed the draft. We were lucky to wheel the first one, but a little bit unlucky to not see more than 2 of them in the entire draft. And I don't think the bots were drafting them. I think there just were only 2 of them floating around. So that's going to do it. Remember, you can like, comment, and subscribe if you appreciate this. Let me know in the comments below what you would have done as far as deck building goes. If the Steelclaw Lances are just too good not to play, you know, you can tell me that below. If we find out we're just getting crushed and we just need to push through bigger creatures, then yeah, maybe we go back and look at our deck and fit the Steelclaw Lances in and stuff like that. But I think the Lock Dragon's pretty good, and I think having just a mono red deck seems fine here. So that's going to go ahead and do it. Thanks for watching. See you in match number 1. Perfectly reasonable hand. Having hands like this makes the 1-drops in my decks a lot worse. Just because I'm going to draw them, they're not going to be super relevant anymore. But we get to go red cap into Ogre Errant, and we have a removal spell to back it up, which this is always going to be 4 damage in this deck. It's kind of nice. Playing against blue, my enemy, my friend, if you will. Blue-red, though, is a little bit of a tweak. Oh, man, that's going to be a tough card to beat with them having it out early. I'm going to go ahead and play Trebuchet here and try to get that going. Just starts getting the damage in, right? Opponent's probably going to play, like, Tome Raider and then make another fairy, and we're going to start losing pretty hard, but we've got some burn damage that might be able to get around there. This thing does block flyers, which is nice. Look at that. Called it. I don't feel confident about beating the turn 2 Improbable Alliance. That card is nuts. But if we draw an Embercleave and we time it right or something like that, we'd be looking pretty good. So we can go Dwarven Mine to make a dwarf. Shoot the opponent for 1. Play Ogre Errant and pass. Just to use up our mana here. And I gotta really remember, this is something I never forget in paper, but when I'm playing on digital Magic, I always forget to just use the stupid end of turn tap ability. So we'll see. Let's see if our opponent attacks into this Trebuchet. I'd probably block. Golden Egg, sure. That's gonna go and give him a fairy. All right, you got another one. You got another one. All right, Merfolk, there's the Secret Keeper. All right, yeah, get that stuff out of there. Scorching Dragonfire, again, not great against a bunch of 1/1s. And here comes that 4/4 I was talking about, or that 4 toughness matters a lot. Oh, attack me, please. Forget about reach. Just one time, forget about reach, opponent. Bargin's a pretty good draw here, because my opponent's probably going to go ahead and block the Secret Keeper, I imagine. So we can go ahead and jam. Bargin is a lot better on this thing, but if I can get a blocker out of the way now, that means I can just keep attacking. And I don't mind trading this off. It's not doing much else. If I already had an Ember Cleave, that would be a different story, but I assume Secret Keeper on Ogre. Oh, if they just don't block at all, that means they probably have the double bounce spell to get Secret Keeper back. Sure. We'll just let this happen. Opponent takes 3 there. It's not negligible. Yeah, my opponent shouldn't be scared about losing this, really, unless they want to reuse it, which means they probably have the stupid double bounce spell. I don't think I'm supposed to Slay and fire it. Remember that this can go to the opponent's face if they get low enough here. Alright. Yeah, my opponent's off to a good start here. They are making 1/1s. But they're using extra mana to just kind of draw cards with these golden eggs. They're holding up their counterspell now. That's fine. So let's assume they have didn't say please. I go attack, attack, give this menace. They triple block with the 1/1s. I get to kill this. And then I get to kill a fairy, but then they get to kill red cap. I could go for barge in. They counter that, but then this second red cap is safe. They don't have the blocks to deal with Aaron. I think they're probably just going to go for just the double bounce spell, run away together, based on the fact that they didn't block my 3/4 with this. But let's see what happens with the attack first. They can't just chump the red cap. And it's possible I just let this attack happen, right? Yep, they're going to go for the triple block. So, boom, boom. I guess Tomb Raider should go first. And then question is, how do I want to get blown out here? If I go barge in and they just bounce this back, that's not that big of a deal, right? But barge in to kill this seems relevant as well. I could also just let this happen, play the other red cap, but I think I like the barge in here to kind of force some action. Use it here. No, let's use it here. My opponent might go bounce this, bounce this. Maybe not. They could also just have, like, didn't say please, counter this barge in, and that's fine. I'm basically trying to bait some action out of the opponent so I can just resolve another red cap and keep attacking. I don't foresee barge in. Yeah, they're going to go ahead. Oh, just counter it. That's fine. I don't care about the mill right now. Seer and Barrage out of the way, but red cap as well, which is not something we want to draw. So we are going to trade red cap for 2 fairies. This is just going to bounce off the 0/4. And then shoot here, play red cap, and play a land, pass. Opponent down to 12, virtually 8 if I can fire off the Slay and Fire. And now we just want to draw knights, really. They can start activating Improbable Alliance. Yeah, they've got a good deck going on here. I don't know. I really don't understand. Well, never mind. I do understand. Let me just shut up. Let me stop talking. Okay, they're gonna go ahead and double. Oh, Secret Keeper again. Sure. Okay, there goes my seconds here in Barrage. Yep, Secret Keeper's fine. Welcome to Eldraine, where this is all anybody does, is just play Secret Keepers, block, and hold up spells, and not do anything that deserves winning, but do it anyway. Gingerbread's a fine draw here. You want to counter Gingerbread, go for it. I will give this thing haste, or rather make it unblockable by little dudes. And then this attack's fine. They can block Ogre Errant pretty easily here. But they either lose a fairy to block this Raging Redcap, or they take 2 damage. Because they can go block, which doesn't accomplish much, or they can go block. It's kind of annoying. They have the golden eggs too, so I'm not feeling very good about this match just because the blue decks draw so many cards. And my opponent's already pretty set up with what's going on here. They've got 6 extra life sitting on board, so they're essentially at 17. If they go for run away together and I slay and fire, I'm just going to lose. Okay, well, if they were going to do that, they should have double blocked with the fairy, so that feels like a mistake, but I think I just let this happen. Yeah, I think I'm okay with this. Just getting my 1 point of damage here. And guess we just ship it back. Wouldn't be surprised if our opponent starts just activating here. Double red? Oh, sure. Okay. Yep, it's so easy to draft this deck, too. The bots just don't take any of the blue cards, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, there's the 3rd Secret Keeper. Surkara would have been a decent hit there. We've got to assume our opponent has, like, a Didn't Say Please in their hand, right? Yeah, they're not casting this Secret Keeper. So their last card is probably Didn't Say Please, which means I'm going to need to bait that somehow and also find a way to kill my opponent, which isn't going to happen. Yeah, Lock Dragon's pretty good bait. That puts me down to 8 cards. Maybe I can get them to do something mid-combat, but I'm pretty sure they just have whatchamacallit in their hand. Didn't Say Please. Because the bots don't take that card either. You can get infinite copies of all these and just win every game you play. And the aggro decks just can't seem to keep up with them. This is my only real attack here. I wonder if I Slaying Fire and then play Lock Dragon. But Lock Dragon's just so bad. They might even let Lock Dragon resolve. I'm going to try to bait them, because I'm not casting this Slaying Fire anyway. Yeah, it resolves. That's kind of unfortunate, because it doesn't do anything against the Fairy Army. Alright, get one of those out of the way. So opponent up to 11. I've got to somehow kill him with Trebuchet before they mill me out, and it only takes like maybe one more Secret Keeper to turn that in my opponent's favor. Emery, huh? Emery with Golden Egg is pretty gross. I'm probably going to have to Slay and Fire this. Lucky Clover. Okay. Merfolk Secret Keeper coming down. Sure. And let's go and hit him with the Trebuchet. I can't beat Emery plus Golden Egg. I don't have a secondary win con there. Alright, well that's a decent draw. It's not actually really that good, but I guess I'm okay attacking with a Lock Dragon. No, that can't be right either. God, this is so bad. Alright, is this a counter spell? It's very, very plausible they didn't counter Lock Dragon because they can just block with 2 fairies. So I don't have good hopes that that is not a counter spell. So let's go ahead and give this the hastes. Not the haste, but the can't be blocked except by haste. You know what I mean. And I attack here, and is there even any point attacking with the Lock Dragon? If I drew a land, I would. I really need to draw Embercleave to win this game, but I don't think it's happening here. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and attack. Probably going to use Rimrock Knight here. Maybe that'll bait out the thing. Bait out the counter spell. Probably won't. Oh, they do have a... Oh, So Tiny. That's their last card. Interesting. So now I basically have to Slaying Fire Emery and then try to win with Trebuchet before they kill me somehow. Alright. So let that resolve. Let's go ahead and Slaying Fire this thing, and we'll just pass from there. Again, Embercleave would be a pretty powerful draw here, especially if the opponent's top deck. And they have this, but I have maybe a window opportunity here. A 1-turn window or something to try and draw this Embercleave. $13 life to claw through. If I draw a land, I can just trade Lock Dragon away and use that as a second draw and maybe draw into Embercleave. That would be amazing. Right now, the only source of damage I have is Trebuchet. And if they don't activate this, that's so bad for me. Why does my opponent always draw? You need a brick for 1 turn. Brick for 1 turn. No! The dwarf. All right. I'm going to attack with Lock Dragon and discard this dwarf. It's not getting us there. This gives another Night Menace, right? Yeah, no point attacking with that one. I will pitch a 7 dwarf. I will pitch 7 dwarves and draw 7 cards. Look, that's a real draw. Just let them trade off here. I don't think they're killing me with fairies. I think they're just using that to make sure I don't kill them, which is going to work for the most part. And, all right, let me actually go control here. I'm going to cast this first, because if I tap Trebuchet first, and then they end up countering Rimrock Knight, then my Trebuchet will be tapped and they can start attacking me. Whereas if I let this happen, and then I see that it resolves, I can choose whether or not to tap the Trebuchet. The Trebucket, if you will. Alright, I assume they're going to gain some life here. They didn't use Improbable Alliance. I'm at 8 cards left in library. Okay, they just... They did that on their turn rather than mine, and they don't want to use Runaway Together. Or the card they drew is better than Runaway Together, despite me being down to just like 2 mills from losing. That's actually kind of interesting. So they maybe have another Runaway Together. Turn into a pumpkin your own thing, sure. I wish I had mana to Siren Barrage that, because this is just another food token as well. Could have done that whole thing. So I'm going to go down to 4 cards. If they mill Embercleave, I'm pretty sure I lose. Even without milling Embercleave, I don't think I can win now. There it goes. Here's where I'd pull up the rest of my deck list. There's still a 7 dwarf in there. I don't think I can beat them in time now that they made another food. So yeah, not having the Siren Barrage up really hurt me there. And Embercleave, I think, was the only way for me to push in enough damage to try and get through this. Yeah, we'll go ahead and concede there. And, yep, you can see the opponent basically did nothing the whole game and won, as the mill deck does. You also see the fault of aggro decks. It's so hard for them to keep up there. I don't think Reave Souls and stuff... I don't think that was a good indication of me wanting Reave Souls and stuff, because if I just Reave Soul their Merfolk, they just bounce it back. The blue deck is so... Sometimes it's just unbeatable if they get an early start, and then they can sit there and not do anything and make you react, right? You have to basically always play creatures that are bigger than 4 toughness. But we're not going to rant again. We're going to try to assemble Dwarftron. We were close there. We had a pretty good start. We were getting going. The opponent just managed to have the turn to Improbable Alliance. And I think without that, that might have been a different game. So we'll try it out for match 2 coming up. All right, we are back for match number 2. We've got 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop on the draw. And we do have one of our dwarf plus another dwarf. Ooh, and we're against a mirror match of some sort? Well, since I drew the 3rd mountain, we can guarantee that Dwarven Mine will be off at some point, or will be on at some point, so I think we're going to do that. If my opponent just pumps Weasel back, I'm cool with it. Nope, that means they're going to have a 2-drop. Watch them out-dwarf us here. If they play 7 dwarf... Oh, we're against Bill Stark. We're against, Watsy person. This is the first time I've actually played against them. So yeah, let's see how this goes. They're playing just full-on aggro. I wonder if they're mono red as well, or they're missing a color. Looking to be mono red, and they're gonna like Scorch and Dragonfire and then attack. I guess if I block here, I block the Rimrock Knight. They don't want to pump. Interesting, which means they want to play a 3-drop, but they also want to clear my creature off the board. Is there something I could be running into? Barge in. but then they would attack with both, right? If they had barge in, they would attack with both. I think I'm supposed to just trade here. My hand's decent. Rage and red cap's pretty good against me. I wish I had some of my burn here, but we'll go ahead and play Trebuchet. It at least blocks the Weasel red cap. Okay, Heraldic Banner with the red cap's pretty good. I can still block this red cap. I just have to take 4 here. Come on, removal spell. Oh, they cast another red cap. Nice. All right, well, God, I really don't want to lose the Flood because I think my deck's well positioned against what my opponent's doing right now. But I don't have the cards and tools to fight it, so getting that extra Dwarf there matters quite a bit because it can just straight up block one of these red caps. If I draw, I mean, I could draw like Siren Barrages here to just turn this game around, right? Because if they attack with red cap this turn, I think I'm kind of priced into blocking with Errant. Doesn't look like they're going to do that. So I get to start Trebucketing them, but they're ahead in the race for sure. God, come on, deck. You're killing me. Literally killing me. Untap, pass. Now my hand's dead. My opponent's on all spells. They only have 3 lands. 4 lands. So 5 mana. So they're dwarfing. They're dwarving. If I can just kill their Trebuchet, then maybe I'm looking like I'm in decent shape here. This is kind of embarrassing against a 2/2. First striker, double striker. Looks like probably just a pass. We Trebucket them. They'll start Trebucketing us. Come on, Pork gave me. Even given this menace doesn't matter because they just double block and kill it. So I'm going to pass back. Opponent's going to Trebuchet us. They are down to 1 card. And we're kind of at parity, but my hand sucks. Drawing Lock Dragon would be fantastic, though. I wonder if they're playing, like, Blow Your House Down or something. Ooh, Ginger Brute. Oh, they're going to attack with Ginger Brute? Oh, no. Are they? Am I going to get the free block on Ginger Brute here? There's no way they have a trick, otherwise they'd be attacking. Emberth Paladin can, in fact, block this Ginger Brute because it has haste. Yes, we got there. We got there. Ginger Brute is not straight up unblockable. It's unblockable except by creatures with haste. All right. Come on. Barge in. I don't feel like my opponent has very much. Can I afford to attack them? This does nothing on defense. I've drawn pretty poorly. Yeah, this just doesn't do anything on defense. Like, if I go attack, they can just, like, not block, and then I might, like, straight up die on the swing back, so 5. This seems just really bad. Not to mention, like, red cap can just eat this. So I think we're just gonna sit here and play the Trebuchet game until either they kill us with something or I draw something better than what I have on board. Again, Embercleave, Lock Dragon. These are cards that I would very much like to draw. There's the 14 Dwarves assembled. All right, opponent decides to send a Dwarf in. And I think I'm just supposed to block with Emberth Paladin because the Ogre Errant holds back my opponent's other creatures. I'm surprised my opponent is not attacking with Weaselback red caps. All right, this is going to be a crucial turn. Siren Barrage. All right, that is a nice one. Oh, I forgot to... Yep, there it goes. I forgot to use the bucket. Forgot to use the bucket. Point of damage might matter a lot. See, at some point my opponent's going to want to get frisky here. And I have a Siren Barrage to kind of help. But they could also draw their own Siren Barrage or Slaying Fire, kill my Ogre Errant, and then it's looking pretty bad from there. I could Siren Barrage their Trebuchet, but I don't know that that's correct. Oh, they're going to Joust? This looks like possibly Joust. Oh, blow your house down, killing Trebuchet. Yeah, we're going to lose this match. I had a feeling they might have this if they're mono red. That's going to kill Trebuchet and my other creatures can't block this turn. I'm going to take, well, I'm going to kill this and take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm still just not in a position to attack them back, really. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Oh, actually, no, yeah. Do this here. I just drew too many lands. Maybe I should go down to a 16 land deck here. Oh, they did have another mana, so I don't see how I live through another turn with that Trebuchet on board. There's just too many things I have to deal with now. I'm taking 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 down to 3. Basically 1. I don't think Embercleave even does it. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the most I can muster up. So, yep. We flooded pretty bad there. We stabilized, we flooded, and then our opponent just kept drawing gas. They drew 4 lands total, so guess we're not going to take down the WotC member despite, I think, our deck being better than theirs. 0-2. Feels good. Feels real good. Flood, basically the name of the game right now. Look how many good draws we have. Look how many good draws we have. Just nothing. I do... Actually, do we want to consider... Yeah, I can't really go down to 16 lands, though, with... 4 or 5 drops and a 6 drop, even though Embercleave, I guess, isn't a 6 drop. But let's run it back and see you all in match 3. All right, welcome back. Another kind of mediocre but playable hand. So far, we've lost to both ends of the spectrum. The super fast mono red aggro deck, and then just the kind of annoying do nothing and win with no skill blue mill deck. I'm sorry, it really doesn't take skill to win with the mill decks in this format. As long as the bots are the way they are. Just the fact that you can get... we said we weren't going to rant about Mill. We're not going to rant about Mill. We are against Arcanus, I assume the Omnipotent. Opponent's on a mole, and I guess deciding whether to keep this one or not. Red cap into Errant's good, and Errant is decent. This is, what, 4 Merfolk Secret Keepers, 2 Islands, and a Didn't Say Please? Maybe. They're just deciding whether... to put an island on the bottom or a Merfolk Secret Keeper on the bottom. Alright, they kept. We're going to play a pretty measly Mountain Pass. Hey, they gave us a hello. They're suddenly cool in my book now because they gave us a hello. Alright, yep, as promised, island. Ooh, blue-black. Even better than mono-blue. Wishful Merfolk. Sure. And there's the very timely Ginger Brute. Go and play a red cap into Errant. Could also go red cap Ginger Brute, but that doesn't seem very useful. Piper of the Swarm. Great time to draw some removal. If I attack, probably block. I'm going to play Lock Dragon here and discard Ginger Brute. I want to find removal for Piper. My opponent missed a land drop. There we go. We just actually need to draw the 5th land now. Although most of my draws from this point forward are pretty good. If I draw a land, I can cast the Siren Barrage. If I draw spells, then I could potentially pitch them. There goes the Secret Keeper. Wow, Slaying Fire plus Embercleave. And we could have Embercleave next turn. Gross. Alright, they can't actually make a token, so I don't think it's right to use Siren Barrage right now. They could untap and, like, go Memory Theft, which would be really annoying. And I don't think I want to trade red cap for Wishful Merfolk when I have pump spells in my deck. So I think I'm going to go Ogre Errant and just attack with the dragon, not discarding anything. Decline. Yeah, I like my hand. I also don't really want to draw too many extra cards against the mill deck, but I think we're setting up pretty nicely against an opponent who's mana screwed. This doesn't change the equation too much because this is going to start getting Menace. Alright, let's see. They're probably going to go Secret Keeper and then hold up the activation here, would be my guess. Okay, Scorching Dragonfire, also a pretty good draw. So we can go Red Cap plus Dragonfire here. If I attack with Errant plus Red Cap, they make a Rat. They probably just block with this plus Rat. I can also go Dragonfire now. Could also use Siren Barrage, but I think getting another creature down is pretty good. And if I attack with the Errant, they're just going to block with the Secret Keeper. So I'm going to go ahead and go Lock Dragon attack, discard nothing, play Red Cap, and then in response to them making a Rat, I'll go and Scorch and Dragonfire them. And having this dragon on line is pretty good. 3 in the air, please. Alright, let's go Red Cap Pass turn. Sure. And just do that while there's no, I don't know, Lash of Thorns or something. That would be really bad. Note that the rat does not have menace. It's the Piper that gives it menace, not that my opponent's going to be attacking me with that rat anyway. But we're looking pretty good here. Now I don't mind trading a red cap off for this merfolk, since I have a backup red cap. Alright, Foreboding Fruit gets me pretty far ahead here. Does draw them a land, most likely. It's the dwarf! Alright, so what's my goal here? What if I go Searing Barrage here? My opponent just has no blocks. They go to 9. They go to 6. One of these has Menace. So they either block, take 2 more and go to 4. Or they go to 1 and I get to eat a rat. How bad does this get if I just trade off a red cap and play like another Ogre Errant? Save the Searing Barrage for anything that can get in the way. I think I'm probably fine attacking. Block, and then no block, or double block a red cap. They could also double block this. I think I'm just going to say no thank you to that. Let's just give them bad blocks here, deal as much damage as possible. And do I pitch 7 Dwarves here? Yeah, I think just getting like another removal spell or another Searing Barrage would basically cement us into victory here. Alright, opponent's going down to 4 with just an 0-4 in play. And we got him. Yay, we beat a mana screwed opponent. Feels like victory, right? I also like how we just keep discarding our 7 dwarves. Let's do the math real quick. I actually pulled this up. So I wanted to see, there's 7 dwarves, right? And they're 2/2s. 7 dwarves are a 2/2. So, wait, what? No. 2 divided by 7. 2 divided by 7. I know how to do math. Look. So they're 2/2s. There's 7 of them. So each dwarf theoretically should account for 0.2857 points of power and toughness, right? So a single dwarf should be about 0.3 power and toughness. Just keep that in mind. It's worth noting. Anyway, we're 1 and 2. Our deck is fine, but picking up those 2 losses is really just not sitting well with me. So we could be out of this pretty quickly, and we'll see if that's in the next round. Jumping into round number 4 now. We have the dwarf. We have the other dwarf. We're missing one of the other 7 dwarfs. But nice curve out 2, 3, 4. Can we just draw Embercleave? We're against Ovinomancer, which is a reference to a magic card. I think it makes green sheep or something like that. Ooh, against a white deck. Beloved Princess. The first time I've ever seen this card in play. Lifelink can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. Well, that's just going to mess us up. I think you play this if you go like all that glitters on it, and then we potentially lose to that. Oh, right. Ooh. All right, let's go with 7 dwarves and pass. Yeah, this is actually kind of scary with specifically all that glitters. Not super powerful on its own. I guess you could always use pump spells and stuff, but it looks like we're going to be playing an aggro deck here. Yep, Ginger Daddy getting in there. Ginger B Rad. So we're going to try to out-aggro our opponent. I think we attack with the dwarf, and then we just play red cap here. I don't think we're keeping dwarf back. Like, you can see I can even Embercleave next turn if nothing happens to my creatures, right? Wonder... It looks like possibly mono white, given the cards that my opponent's played so far. You might be forced into playing this. They're definitely playing all that glitters too, right? They have this unblockable creature, this other unblockable lifelinker. If we could just draw a Scorching Dragonfire and hold it up for the rest of this game, I'd be a pretty happy man. Because that is the cheese. It's the equivalent of playing like Gauntlets of Light from M20 on a Griffin Sentinel or something. Just hard to interact with, right? What else you got? Could also just play like Trapped in a Tower on this or something along those lines. Just giving Ginger Brute unblockable seems fine by me, though. Yeah, maybe my deck's better with Reeve Souls. Who knows? Spinning Wheel. Okay. So that's going to up the All That Glitters count by 1. They're going to make Gingerbrute unblockable. We get a pretty good attack in on him here. The question is whether I want to go for the Ember Cleave now and just get that huge chunk in, or if I want to just play out more creatures. And I think I want to play out more creatures. My opponent goes All That Glitters plus, let's say, another artifact. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be a 5/5 lifelinker. It's going to be a tough card to race, but I think we can do it. Also, the more creatures I get, the better Ember Cleave gets because it becomes cheaper. Right now, I'm putting our opponent down to 14 here. I mean, Rimrock Knight plus Ember Cleave is an extra 6 damage. 6 damage worth of trample out of nowhere. So I can't block this right now, right? Can't be blocked by creatures power 3 or greater. So that Beloved Princess is getting in there, regardless of what I do. And we don't have Searing Barrage mana. Opponent on 5 cards in hand and clearly has decisions to make. I mean, if they just go like Trapped in a Tower on Ogre Errant plus like something else, that's decent. I mean, the worst case scenario for me is that they have All That Glitters plus Trapped in a Tower, and I guess it really doesn't make a difference because this can't be blocked anyway. Weapon Rack. Okay, Weapon Rack's nice. I can race a Weapon Rack. They're going to get that 2/2 lifelinker. Gingerbrute cannot attack here. Alright, Searing Barrage, no land, as mentioned, but I can attack with 3 creatures. This will cost 3, and I can even Rimrock Knight to just pump in a bunch of extra damage. So I think that's what we're going to do. Yeah, we're going to go for just the huge hit here. What do we want to Ember Cleave? This already has Double Strike. Let's give something else Double Strike. The Dwarf? Yeah, the Dwarf is the worst. So this is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Put our opponent down to 1 and then lethal Searing Barrage off the top. Did we do this before blocks? No, we didn't do that before blocks. Wow, we did. We did. We gave our guy +2/+0 before blocks. Although this has Menace. Ha, so they can't block this anyway. Alright, opponent down to 1. Let's see, can we just go land Searing Barrage and wrap this game up? Before they find the answer? Before they find the All That Glitters? They have 3 extra life with Gingerbrute here, but I've got a pretty good board, and most of my top decks are good. Like, the only top decks that are really bad are other 5-drops. But anything that's not a 5, anything that's a land, even the Dwarven Mine is pretty good here. They can Spinning Wheel, but that would the Spinning Wheel is not going to win them this game. They could be missing a color. Oh, geez. Okay. Attack with both. That is interesting. What does that mean? That means they have Ardenvale thingamabobber. What if they have Outflank? Alright, I'm going to go to combat. They could have the, feels like Ardenvale Tactician. They could have Silver Flame, though, to untap and give +2/+2 to this Beloved Princess. That would be very bad news. Looks like they're just going to tap 2 creatures down, though. And then I'll follow up by playing Rimrock Knight plus Joustin' Dummy. Yeah, okay. I don't think I'm also going to play around Silver Flame. Although that does just basically gain them 9 life. Oh, they have it too? I mean, just outflank me. No, they have it. Oh my god. They had, like, the perfect cards. Yeah, so I lose a creature, they go up 5 life, and now I think I'm losing. Oh, no, not that one. Joustin' Dummy. Alright. Youch. And this is going to go up to 4/4. I need to draw a mountain stat. Wow, just perfect combination of cards there to lock it down. I can't play around everything, right? What do I not attack there at all? Opponent's doing some math here. I could chump with Jousting Dummy to make this race a little bit lighter on me. But I just got extremely punished there. Even with the Embercleave, probably going to lose this match. Just the life swing is going to be so painful. So right now, we're set to take it minimum 5 damage if our opponent wants to do that. Weapon rack is all used up. Alright, opponent leaves Gingerbrute back though. I'm not going to block here. Really need to draw a land. Oh, if I had a land last turn. Let's see what they end up playing though. Because they can go like Ardenvale plus hold up the food here, which is pretty good. I can re-equip Embercleave, which is reasonable. Just kind of need a 5th land for this barrage. Like, just 5th land me, bro. 5th land me. Maybe. Opponent really is thinking about their turn. Although it looks like they're clicking their fox. So, I'm Ovinomancer. I'm going to need you to make a decision, please. Judge? Just kidding. I can see how a game like this could be pretty hard, especially if they have really good options in hand. They might want to play offensive or defensive. We just draw like Slay and Fire would also do the trick. Alright, so the Tactician. Alright, they're just going to play out some creatures here. Alright, we did draw the land. Now we got to think about how we're attacking. If I go... I think I can attack and let trades happen, right? Because nothing here besides Jousting Dummy is a profitable trade. And then I could even barrage this. If they make a really bad block, then this gets in for 6 trample damage. But I think I want to trade off as much as possible. What do their blocks look like? Gingerbrute here. And then double block here. And then take 6 and have this back. And then I still have the Jousting Dummy. The alternative... Oh, this has Menace, though. Yeah, that's going to gain Menace, so that's actually a little bit better for me. So maybe double block Ogre Errant. They could double block Rimrock Knight, but that doesn't seem correct. I think they want to take Ogre Errant here. They don't have good blocks on this at all. Alright, you have to block with 2 creatures there. And then let's say they don't block these 2. That's 9, 10, 11, 12. No, that's wrong. This is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So not quite enough to do it. They still have 3 cards in hand. I think regardless of what happens here, I've basically got to go Seer and Barrage on this before they untap. And then just let whatever trades are going to happen here really chump their take 9. So opponent's pretty confident they can kill me on the swing back. Okay, let's let this happen. And then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't think I can afford to play around them having... Because what I can do here... 2, 4... What I can do here is... Their plan might just be to remove this out of the way and attack for lethal. And then I can Seer and Barrage. But if they have like Trapped in the Tower plus another pump spell, which is very likely given their deck, I think I just have to play safe and kill this now. Puts them down to 1 again. I have a blocker for Silver Flame. There is a combination of cards that kills me here. Maybe a double Fairy Guidemother, for instance, just off the top of my head, that's lethal. Fairy Guidemother plus another Silver Flame is lethal. Like, any 4 damage I can't block here is going to do the trick. Trapped in a Tower plus Fairy Guidemother does the trick, right? See if the opponent can push it in or not. Because they might have blocked thinking if they cleared this out of the way, they get the win. But I think it's a little bit too risky to try and block or use a removal spell. They've got a bunch of cheap cards in their deck. It's fairly likely they can cast multiple spells and then, like, save their princess, attack me for lethal, while also getting Joust and Dummy out of the way. Here comes the good game. Let's see if that's a concession good game. Nope, that sounds like we won good game. Let's see. I'm going to block here just to make sure. And I don't think there's anything they can do off of the spinning wheel here. Whew. All right, I think we got this one. Trebuchet. All right, let's just go ahead and jam. And let them do their blocks here. They have no good block anyway. Mono red versus mono white. Maybe mono white? I'd love to see my opponent's hand here. There's a chance they're missing a color. I would like to see what lines of play they had. Because they thought about it, and I don't think they were just, like, being annoying. I think they were just actively thinking about what they could do there. And that means they had a lot of possible decisions. We got a little lucky there, though. Beloved Princess almost wrecked us. God, they had that Ardenvale Tactician plus Silver Flame Squire turn was just disgusting. Puts us at 2-2, though. Not quite the comfort zone yet. We've got quite a few wins ahead of us if we want to salvage this draft. We got some 7 dwarf action going on with 2 dwarfs. Let's go ahead and jump into match 5. All right, we're back. We're against Omega 250. Pretty sure that's a essential oil. We have 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop if we draw a land, and then another follow-up. Not really much else to do. Like, if they play a 3-3, our hand kind of sucks. But I am going to keep, since I'm on the draw here, gives us a good shot at that third land. Another red deck. All right, Dwarven Mine I think I can hold off on for a turn. For a couple turns, right? I think having that 1/1's actually pretty relevant in this game. I don't mind drawing more red. So, another aggro matchup. Youthful Knight's probably pretty good against us. Drawing the other mountain there's fairly nice. Can't attack. Probably can't block. Ship it back. Raging Redcap does tussle with the Youthful Knight. They trade. Let's see what their curve out plan is here. What did they just Embercleave us? I wish this was like, if you had 7 dwarves, you win the game. If you had 7 copies of 7 dwarves, you win the game. If you have 7 cards named 7 dwarves, you win the game. I don't know. Something completely not feasible, but like maybe constructed viable somehow. Okay, looks like our opponent's going to joust us maybe. I don't know. I always think it's joust, but that actually would not be very good. Joust, +2/+1 almost isn't enough. It's almost never enough to say I'm sorry. It's never enough to say I care. Could double block here. That's just asking for trouble. Any pump spell and we just lose our board. They're red-white. Like, come on. They're going to have pump spells. Merchant of the Veil. Okay. So question is, do I want to attack with red cap and just use my turn to trade for Merchant? Nah, I probably just want to play Rage and red cap and pass. Ship it back. Suspecting our opponent has at least 1 trick in hand. Next turn we do get to play Dwarven Mine and at least another spell. And then we do have Seer and Barrage on curve here. Opponent has played some reasonable cards on curve, but nothing completely threatening. And if we can get to the Seer and Barrage and still be fairly stable on board, I'll be pretty happy against our opponent's board. Granted, they're red-white. They could have basically anything that we have, so they have the blowout potential as well. Scorch and Dragonfire. Sure. Sure. That is not a crucial part of our deck. I don't think I can afford to block again. So let's take the hit. I'm guessing they either have the 3/1 dwarf or they have Bargain in their hand. I mean, they could have Outflank. They could have a bunch of different things. 2/1 on board. We can beat that. Let's actually go Dwarven Mine, Rage and Redcap. And we'll do some blocks this turn. Try to empty our opponent's hand and then stabilize with Sarkara or Seer and Barrage. Would love to see my opponent play a land here. Just to kind of indicate they're running out of spells. Definitely doing some blocking this turn, but we'll see how it pans out. Another removal spell for red cap, maybe? They did deem Rage and red cap worth using Scorch and Dragonfire on, so I guess maybe they're limited on their options of getting through that. Maybe. We're still at a reasonable life total. We've got a pretty good hand against our opponent's board here, I think. But we'll have to see how combat goes before we decide which of these 5-drops we're deploying next turn. Because Surkara is just very good. It goes boom, boom, right? Wow, no attack with the 2-1. So what could that mean? Obviously, I'm not in a good position to block this. Plus, I have Surkara for it. I think I'm going to do some blocks on this and just see what our opponent has. Like, I can go boom plus boom. I could even throw this in front, but I think this is relevant. My opponent's not attacking with Shield Breaker because I can first strike it off. So what do they have then? What am I missing? I'm not sure. Let's just block like this. Again, trying to get them to use a trick here. Oh, yeah, you know what? It's probably the +2/+0 dwarf because that wouldn't work on Embereth Shield Breaker. Well, trading one of my dwarves for merchant's pretty nice. Opportunistic dragon. Nice. Very nice. I think I can actually get away with attack with red cap. I'm supposed to just Sear and Barrage this now, but playing Surkara seems very good. Take a hit for 4. I want to be risky here. I'm going to go to 8. I can just chump these things. We suspect our opponent has a dwarf in hand, +2/+0, which would make sense not attacking with this. They didn't want to risk me putting a creature in front of it, actually anything in front of it, and then not having that opportunity. Opportunistic. I think I'm going to play Surkara, go for the high upside here, and just accept that I'm going to take a hit here. If they had stolen something with the dragon, that'd be pretty good for me because I could barrage mid-combat, but we'll see. We'll see if this bites me or not. I mean, if they just untap, kill Surkara, that's not great. But if Surkara gets to untap here, I can just start pinging down my opponent's small creatures, and I already have an answer for their big creature. Alright, so they're casting something besides a pump spell here. Alright, just let me untap with Surkara. That's fine. That's fine. That is acceptable. And then the fact that it's pausing here kind of confirms they have a 1-mana red spell, and that does kind of back up our theory that they have the Rimrock Knight in their hand. It certainly feels like it. Yeah, this thing. Well, at least if I go block... Well, no, I've got to Sear and Barrage this dragon now, right? Yeah, I think I basically have to do that. And I might chump this turn. Oh, right. Surkara triggers. Hit a land. Hit a land. Yes, I forgot Surkara triggers when instants or sorceries deal damage to your opponent as well. It's not just when it deals damage. So that was awesome. Now the question is, do I want to play Ginger Brew or do I want to hold up Rimrock Knight? I think I'm just in chump block mode on these creatures. So let's do this and then see if we can set up a good block against what we suspect is our opponent's Rimrock Knight. They can't really use these because Surkara is going to shoot them down. So it's really their Rage and red cap. I mean, even that doesn't do it, right? Because if they just attack with this and they're holding up +2/+1, I can shoot it for 1 and then they still trade with the red cap. They don't first strike each other off, or they would first strike each other off there. So I think we're looking pretty good here. Surkara hitting that land was very nice. Actually, Surkara resolving and allowing me to untap was very nice. And I think we've got a pretty good read on what our opponent has there. It was also just nice that opportunistic dragon didn't get to snag anything there. We've got a decent number of humans and artifacts that it could have grabbed. Like we played Surkara and Ginger Brute the turn after. Claim the Firstborn on Ginger Brute. I accept. Make Ginger Brew unblockable, except by creatures with haste. I do not have haste on board. Oh, they sacked it. Awesome. Like, sure, they killed Ginger Brute and gained a life, or gained 3 life. I can accept this. It also tapped them very weirdly there, so now they can't even use this. And I think I get to start taking over this game now. It is possible we've got the wrong read, but I would bet money that they have Rimrock Knight in hand. Same card we have in hand. Let's go ahead and pop this first striker here. Attempt to pop this first striker. Ooh, they have... is it Shepherd of the Lost? No, I don't think so. There is a pause here, though, so they have to be playing on full control if that's the case. Still think I'd rather Surkara just be damage control here instead of getting too frisky. Because I can go pop them and just search for a card here. But I would rather kill this. I would rather use Surkara to kill creatures while I know I can than I would to risk just like hitting a land and having it tap down. Let's go ahead and shoot Shield Breaker. Opponent is basically F6'd. And now I can start using Surkara. Well, that's a pretty good draw. I guess I can do this first. Maybe I draw something else. All right, play that. Let's go Dragonfire on this thing. And now we can start attacking for 1,000,000. Am I scared of a haste creature? Enough that I'll keep a 1/1 back. We can pump twice. Possible I'm supposed to be just playing this 3/1. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I could max out 11 damage here, but I kind of like the Rimrock in my hand with this double striker on board. My opponent plays a Trebuchet or something. I can punch through it. Doesn't even make a lot of sense for them to play the Rimrock Knight if they have it, because Surkara can kill it, plus it can't block, so it's not very good here. Yeah, alright, we got that one. I think things went in the right order for us, because our opponent definitely had the tools to beat us, like a well-timed Claim the Firstborn or something was pretty good, and having the opportunistic dragon the turn before I play Surkara is nice. Not having removal spell for Surkara, obviously great. That brings us to 3 and 2. We're going to keep on climbing here. Out as soon as we take a loss, but we're going to jump into match number 6 right now. Hey, welcome back. What is this, match 6 I said? We're against Superior Goat. That's the... Alright, whatever. 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop, 4 drop. Can't ask for much better. Our opponent's going to play something that blocks Weaselback Redcap, and we're going to be embarrassed that it's in our deck. Look, this could be a Reeve Soul or a Steel Claw Lance. Think about that. Steel Claw Lance is so good with these Redcap. Wow, another one? Another one. All right. I will Redcap. You can block all day if you want. I will trade Redcaps. Yes, yes. All right, let's go 7 Dwarves. Red, white again. Youthful Knight again. We've been here. We've done this. I think we go probably Redcap Raiders. And unfortunately can't attack, though. Alright, our hand's looking pretty minimal here. But it's not bad. We get to go Lock Dragon, and if we just draw a 5th land, sure. That's kind of annoying. Because now they get to get ahead of us here by quite a bit. 7 Dwarves is just going to sit on defense against Redcap. Oh, they don't want to take damage. Dwarven Mine is reasonable as well. So I'm going to go Dwarven Mine, Lock Dragon, and I'm going to pitch this mountain to just try and hit some more spells here. Obviously, I could get punished if I hit a 5 drop or something like that, but I think it's fine. They kill Lock Dragon, you know, so be it. But just filtering that 1 land away seems relevant. Fireborn Knight is a very strong card, so can we find an answer for that, please? If they attack with Youthful Knight, I can double block. They trade Youthful Knight for 7 Dwarves here, essentially. And I need to find a removal spell for Fireborn Knight now. That's not going to do it, so let's go ahead and jam with the dragon and pitch another land. All of my removal spells in the deck deal with it. Yeah, that's not going to kill the man. Let's go ahead and do that and pass. I think I can afford to take a hit off of Fireborn Knight. And then maybe chump with this dwarf. I do need Lock Dragon to survive here, I think. That's pretty crucial for me to filter through lands. Because I've already seen 8 lands. My opponent's seen 4. We've seen twice as many, essentially. Yeah, red cap can't really block that. So I'm going to say no blocks, and my opponent can do what they want. If they pump, I take 6. I don't think that's really a good use of their... Oh, they're going to pump. Interesting. Just get that huge hit in, I suppose. Jeez. All right. Guess attack. Okay, Searing Barrage is perfect. I think we just use that now. Do we use it now? What if our opponent pumps again? No, I'm going to get greedy here. I'm going to get greedy. Charming Prince. Doesn't actually change very much here. It does mean our opponent's not pumping their Fireborn Knight. Scry 2. Sure. I can accept a Scry 2. I think their Searing Barrage is going to get this. The one card that really gets me here is Shepherd of the Lost, though. And I should probably stop saying that, because every time I speak a card into existence, my opponent has that card. It's like, yes, I can get punished by certain things. Wow, attack with red cap? What's that all about? What's going on here? They just want to get my blocker out of the way, my chumper? Alright, I'm going to go ahead and attack with a Lock Dragon. I probably should have used the Searing Barrage. I am going to discard the Mountain. Another Barrage. It's pretty good. And I'm just going to pass here. So might be missing an opportunity to kill Fireborn Knight, but I think that's acceptable. I mean, what could they have? Just Shepherd, right? There's nothing for 2 mana that gives that big of a boost. So I'm going to go ahead and use it and see what they got. Nothing. They're just basically F6'd. I can take 2, or I could trade. No box. Because they're just dead to Searing Barrage here if the dragon hits them. I will not discard here. I don't think they have anything. Let's just Searing Barrage them out. Nice. All right. Lock Dragon did it for us there. Basically looted away 2 lands for us, and that was enough for us to find some removal spells and beat the other red deck. They that turn they pumped the whatchamacallit. They basically used an entire turn to get in 2 extra damage, and I just don't think that's quite where they want to be. But I'll take the win here and continue playing. Enough chatter. Let's go straight into match 7. All right, we are back for match 7. We're on the play. This hand has potential. I'm going to keep it, and we're just going to hope to draw our second 7 Dwarves, or just draw some spells here. You know, Lock Dragon, Burn Spell, something like that. We're against Windrake Hex. Another red deck. Yeah, you got it, opponent. Hit me for 1. Hit me. Alright, Trebuchet is a pretty decent card to just kind of pave the way here. To kind of make sure the gas is a-flowing. Red, black, so possibly knights as well. I'd love to see just an unblockable Ginger Brute here. Nope. Alright, so what I can do now is attack, and if they block and go for a pump spell, I can use a pump spell of my own to come back at them. Basically win that fight. Huh. They want to keep 2 mana up, so they probably have Scorch and Dragonfire then. And they just don't want to use it on my 2 drops. So do I play Trebuchet? Or do I just play like Rimrock Knight? Sure. Otherwise, if they didn't have a 2 mana spell they wanted to cast, they would have used their mana to make this unblockable. So pretty obvious Scorch and Dragonfire. But I think I got to get it out of their hand. As long as they have Dragonfire, they can just threaten to like hold it up anytime I need to use a combat trick, and then my combat tricks suck. We'll go Dwarven Mine here. We're not drawing very well, that's for sure. Dwarven Mine, I guess, is something if I'm going to draw a land, but it's not a lot of something. And am I playing the 3-1? Yeah, I'm probably playing a 3-1. All right, now if we just go Searing Barrage, Searing Barrage, Searing Barrage, I'll feel fine. There was a pause on their end step, so another piece of instant speed interaction. Embereth Paladin, no Adamant. No Adamant. Raging Redcap, that's a nice one with Bargain. What happens if I attack with everything here? Whatever Ginger Brute blocks, we can barge in to save that creature. And then Embereth can either not block or trade with one of these two. There's no way Embereth blocks this. So I do think I attack with everything here and keep the pressure on. Okay, I'm kind of cool with this. So we can't save the 7 dwarf. We will save the little dwarf. This is going to trample for 4, 5, 6. And then we play Raging Redcap. And can we draw Embercleave? Embercleave or Searing Blaze or Lock Dragon or Surkara. Because our opponent's going to start playing the big boys that we can't get through here. Would be my guess. Yeah, like that one. Can't get through that one. Or we could draw another mountain and just pass the turn. Well, that's almost the nail in the coffin. Almost. Not quite, but our opponent's got enough life total and stabilized with the cards they're going to play here that I don't feel particularly good about this match anymore. Maybe should be a 16 land deck. Maybe. Alright, looks like they're going to take the opportunity to kill that. That's such a risky play. I guess it's not. There's not a lot of things that actually get there. They can hit me for 5 as well. I can't block it. Oh, alright. Opponent says race is on. They decide the race is not quite on, and we need to draw something right now or lose the game. Alright. I've seen enough of that, and that's going to go ahead and do it for the 7 dwarves. Not exactly a dwarf deck, right? Didn't quite get there. Almost hit Platinum 3, but Mana Flood. I guess maybe in retrospect we were supposed to be a 16 land deck, but then, you know, it's easy to draw hands with a bunch of Searing Blazes and Surkara and 4-drops and stuff and be like, oh, maybe we should have been a 17 land deck, right? I think we just flooded a bit too much. Perhaps I should have played Merchant of the Veil to just kind of mitigate the flood, because the dragon was very good at doing that. Didn't see Embercleave too often, lost a mill, lost to a red deck due to flood, and then that last match, good start, but our opponent stabilized, and we drew too many lands. I don't think playing the next couple of turns there gets me ahead when I can't even block what they have, really. So that's going to do it for the 7 Dwarves deck. Not a great showing, but we'll open our one little measly pack here and show it off. Watch there be a 7 Dwarf in this. No. No Dwarf. Yeah, Stormfist Crusader. That's a card that exists, I suppose. Yeah, there were a lot of things we could have done differently here as far as the direction we took when we drafted, as far as whether or not to play the black cards. I mean, the Reeve Souls were the biggest thing, but I don't know. I think mono red was fine, and I don't think we would have been playing a bunch of black sources in our deck for 4 or 5 cards anyway, and they were all 2-drops, so it gets a little bit awkward. Not the best showing, but also not terrible, right? We didn't get to ever play both of our dwarves at the same time, too. Always a little disappointing when you do a Bi-Force video like this and you just don't see the cards that you're trying to force, right? But again, this is a learning tool to kind of teach why you don't force things, because it never works out. Anyway, that's going to go ahead and do it. If you have ideas for Bi-Force videos specifically pertaining to Throne of Eldraine, let me know in the comments below. I do think I'm going to force this mill deck at one point, while also maybe doing the adventure deck or a night deck. If you want me to get a second crack at the 7 Dwarf deck, we could try that again as well. But yeah, that's going to go ahead and do it for this one. So as always, thanks for watching. My name's Timothy with Mana Rocks, and I'll see you all next time.